Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Malice, and I'm bringing some Maradona and Toten today. And I would be lying if I said I didn't have fun playing this. It's pretty fun. Once you get the ray gun and once you get your loadout, it's pretty fun. You're just shooting these guys with the ray gun, and if you can get that, I forgot the name of the wonder weapon in this map. I get it really late, but when I finally got it, I was like, all right, cool. It's pretty dope, actually. It's not as powerful as the ray gun. The ray gun is really powerful. I mean, it's pretty much like 2-3 shots per zombie. I'm like, so it's pretty cool. They made it really easy. Really easy to grind rounds on this game. So on my very first try, I got like round 50. And after the first 50 rounds are so easy. As someone who's been playing Black Ops 1 for so long, these newer game modes are just so easy to me. Uh, so that kind of is the issue. It's just too easy. It has no replayability. It took me months of practice to finally be able to hit like round 50. Well, doing the fast strat, it took me a lot of practice. But doing just regular round 50 on a regular map, you know, um, like Kino or whatever, it's not hard to hit round 50 if you're just doing regular grinding. It just takes a lot longer if you do it, which makes it dreadful and boring, and you'll just get too bored and you won't even want to do it. But if you do the faster way, where it takes only like about an hour and a half or less to hit round 50, like Fire Trap on Kino or something like or any of the fast strikes on any of the maps on BL1. Yeah, they're very hard to do, and I find that more fun to do. However, high rounding on the older games, it's just very dreadful and boring. And that's kind of where these newer game modes, these newer games, I actually find them more fun. They made it more fun and interesting. You have all these little things that are distracting you, all these different types of zombies and varieties of zombies, and you have a variety of ways of how you want to approach that. You can craft items. You can use it's honestly really you're just using the ray gun. I swap out and use the weapon you start off with brain rot modification and with the ammo mod. Yeah, I think it's an ammo mod, right? You use that, and that thing rips zombies apart, man. That thing works really good. Brain rot works really good. It's pretty cool watching it go down. So it's fun, playing these newer games. You see all this cool newer stuff, but once you hit like round 50, it's like kind of like, what's the point, So and I kind of realized that a lot of people, they like content, Easter eggs and the mystery behind discovering things. And right off the bat, they did that all on the first day. If you guys weren't aware, like the older game modes, I'm more into grinding the rounds. And if you guys don't know this, the older games, it took years, like I think 2.5 years specifically. If we're going to be specific about it, I believe it was around 2.5 years, because Black Ops 1 came out in 2010 November, right? So by like 2013, halfway into 2013, someone finally hit round 200, and the casual and high round community were actually on the same page for once. I think that's the only time in history where the competitive community, people like high rounding and doing competitive speed runs and stuff like that, the more difficult stuff to do, they were all on the same page. And I think there was a popular YouTuber at that time by King Jack, and a lot of people knew who he was. They still remember that. If you guys remember the old schools, zombie players like Relaxing and Mato Master, I mean, those guys, they didn't really make a mark on zombies. I think the most popular video of zombies history was Syndicate on Kino when he did 115, and actually that's already been proven to be a modded game, by the way. If you guys didn't know that guy modded on that game, so it wasn't even legit. But that's what made zombies popular, high rounding and grinding rounds. Whereas now they it's more, people are more into Easter eggs and content. And actually, I think that's pretty cool. I'm not even gonna lie. I think it's really cool. I actually do like it. I personally, I just watch the videos. I don't do the Easter eggs myself. I just watch videos on it because I don't really care when it comes to zombies. I'm more of a person that likes to grind through rounds. But if people like content, man, actually I don't mind it, because it makes it interesting and more fun. It actually gives it a story. I don't think the story is very good, but That's just my opinion. There's a lot of things they could have did better. I think the old classic Nazi zombies was a better idea, and that's actually what made me enjoy and love zombies. The whole idea of the super soldier mythology that 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 actual Hitler was trying to do. So that was actually based on an actual real thing. So I thought that was a lot more cooler. It felt more like something I could relate to because that was part of our history, and they kind of just changed it a little bit to make it into something really, into a mythos of its own. So I thought that was a little bit more cooler. But now, it's like, what the hell am I even looking at? Like, I don't even know what's going on. Honestly, I don't really even care to, because it's just so off the wall. It's like, okay, I don't even know where we're going with this, but okay, it's zombies. I still enjoy grinding the rounds, and the first 50 rounds to me were just like, wow. On the first try, I got round 50. Okay, now what? Well, how do you do the high rounds? So after round 50, that's actually where it actually becomes difficult. It actually made me think, like, for the first time, I was like, oh, okay. So you can't just, do the same thing, first 50 rounds. Now you actually got to change strategy because after round 50, the zombies get faster and, they actually want to kill you. Like, where the first 50 rounds, it doesn't even feel that way. Yeah, it's like, you got armor, you got all these perks and all these, overpowered equipment. And it's just like, wow, this is easy. Okay, that was a joke. But now they move faster, so you got to think, okay, well, you got to find a choke point somewhere in this map, and I'm pretty sure somebody already discovered it. And looking it up, I realized, yeah, they did. There's already somebody who, on the very first day, somebody who's already hitting around 200. So like I was saying earlier, it took 2.5 years for somebody to do that on Black Ops 1. And that's really my issue I have with the newer games, but that's just my personal opinion, my preference. I prefer something a little bit more difficult, that takes time to figure out, and grinding, determination. To me, those are more my thing. But on the other hand, it did make the older games boring, and lack of content kind of does make it boring. So, and the majority of people who play zombies, that's what they want to do. Only less than 1% are really into like the more harder stuff, that actually want the game to be hard, like myself, and it's pretty rare that anybody even really agrees with me on that one. So I already know that most people would disagree with me on that. It's just by popular opinion. It doesn't mean that it's true. It's just a popular opinion, and that's what most people want, and that's what they're gonna make money off of. So they're obviously gonna make games still like this, So yeah, but me, I would prefer something difficult. As far as the content, I think it's pretty cool. Because originally, I didn't even start off with zombies. I started off with playing Extinction, and that was just like, that was not a round-based game. That was just like, it had a beginning and ending. It took like about an hour. Started off at one point, you moved to the very end location. And then after you destroyed everything, you had an exfil out, and then that was it. Like the way there's an exfil on here. Extinction already had that. That was part of the game. You were gonna do that no matter what. That was part of the game. You just went from beginning to end, and then that was it. I thought that was actually pretty cool. It was so easy back in those days. And unlike on zombies, where you grind for ether to unlock the stuff like perks and ammo mods and stuff like that to upgrade it and optimize all your equipment, which just makes the game way too easy. I'm like, it was already easy as it is. Now it's just way too easy. But that's fine, I guess. That's what people like. But they made it. Even unlocking the stuff, the ethers, they made it easy to do that. So. If anything, it would have been better if they had made that difficult to do, because in Extinction, man, you have to grind to unlock all the, but the downside to that, you had to pay for the DLC to get all that stuff, whereas here it's free, so that was cool. Honestly, if it were up to most people, including myself, I think it would just be better to play this, because you don't have to pay for it. You just buy the game. It was only like 30-some bucks for me. And that was pretty cool, in my opinion. I think it was a win-win on that, And the reason why it was half off is because the game obviously is not selling or doing well. But I don't care. That's not my problem. My problem is, is the game good or bad? I think it's a good game. It just doesn't have replayability, in my opinion. Because they made it too easy. If they would have made it probably more difficult to grind for ether. I think that would probably increase the replayability. I think I would have had more fun trying to grind for ether to unlock stuff than actually, the round-based game, because the round-based game is just a joke. Grinding through rounds, it's so easy. First 50 rounds did on the first day. I'm pretty sure if I look up strategy, I'll find one, or I could come up with one on my own, which is usually what most people think is most fun to do. I personally don't enjoy doing that. I'd rather just have somebody show me how to do it, and then I'll do it myself, and I have fun doing that. I'm completely humble and learning from somebody else. So I'm pretty sure there's already strategy. I think I looked up, and Mr. Waffles, I think he pretty much showed one, and I was like, wow, I can see why this guy is super popular. Some of the other popular YouTubers, I don't really like them. I don't want to drop names, because I don't really want to be a part of that cyberbullying. So, but I don't like most big YouTubers. They just, their opinions and their type of content. It's like I can see why they're popular, but I just don't like it. It's not out of hate or any dislike. I just don't like them because they just don't. I just don't share the same opinion as far as like making the rounds harder to grind through, or as far as is the story good or bad? How they feel about that. Honestly, I thought the story was kind of like, who cares? Like after it stopped being Nazi zombies, it just didn't even feel like Nazi zombies. As far as story mode was, as far as content, I'm like, yeah, sure, it's cool. I watch it, and then that's it. I watch it once and that's it. It doesn't really make me feel like I'm into I don't feel as into it as maybe others are, but that's just how I feel about it. I think people who say lack of content on this, I think I would agree with that. I think it could have been better. And that's not predominantly what drives me to play zombies, but yeah, I think it could have probably increased. It could have made it more interesting. I think for those who care for that sort of thing, I don't really care for it, but for those who do, yeah, I think they could have. But as far as round grinding, grinding through rounds, trying to hit round 100 on this, I looked up the strategy. It didn't look very hard, so I can attempt it. But as far as the first 50 rounds, I'm like, wow, this is a joke. And I was like, okay, first try, I was like, all right, is this even a good map? I'm like, yeah, it's pretty fun. The wonder weapon is not really all that. The ray gun is actually where it's at. The ray gun's still the most powerful weapon on here. The main wonder weapon, it was like, okay, it actually shoots pretty fast though, so it would actually come in handy if you don't upgrade it. I think it would be better if you don't upgrade it, because when you upgrade it, I don't know, it turns into these weird things that I heard there's different variants. I've only gotten the same one, this one that shoots a laser cannon. That's the only one I've ever been able to pick up. There's actually other variants that I looked up and I saw on YouTube. So yeah, it's dope, but it's not as powerful as the ray gun. The ray gun is still the most powerful thing. And now having mule kick, it's like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. It's funny, like a lot of people requesting mule kick, and I can see why, because it actually makes it makes it pretty cool. I would have preferred double tap, but that's just my opinion. I think double tap with the ray gun, it just would have made, it would have made this game like, wow, this is so easy. It's already easy as it is, like, wow, doing this with double tap. Actually, I would have had fun doing that. It kind of has that same feeling like World at War. It's just so easy, but it's actually fun at the same time. And that's just how zombies is, so as far as replayability, I'm like, yeah, once you do it like once or twice, it's like, okay, what's the point of doing it again? Like, it's just too easy. When they make things too easy, it's not replayable. Well, for someone like myself, but for those who don't put as much time, and they want something that's easier for them, because they don't like putting in they don't have the time, or they just don't want to put the time to getting skill, to building skills and getting good at the game. They'd rather make the game easier, so that way they can just grind through the rounds and have more fun doing it like that, and there's nothing wrong with that, the older games is where it's at if you don't like that, and that's why I still play the older games. So if you ever wondered why I still play the older games, it's because this one's too easy for me. The older games are a lot harder. Trying to hit round 100 on an older game, yeah, it's like Black Ops 1. Yeah, good luck. I don't care how good you are. If you don't put in the time, the practice, it's pretty hard to do it, especially if you're doing it the faster way. If you come up with your own strategy, you want to do it a slower, boring way, Yeah, you could do that, and it's not hard. It's just very dreadful to do it. But the problem with that is that, oh man, it's like it's just so boring. And if you wanted to hit a higher round like 200, which took 2.5 years to do on that game, and only one person was able to do it at that time. Yeah, yeah, that's just that's really what's more impressive. But to do 200 on this, it's really no different than hitting 100. It just takes a little bit longer. So it doesn't really impress me in skill wise, and trying to challenge me, and that's really where my main point would be with this game is if I had something bad to say about this game, it's just not challenging. But everything else about it is pretty cool. I think it's you got these little things that float around that you got to shoot at. If you wanted to, you could stay stationary, and that's kind of where I'm like, wow, they just make it. I'm pretty sure if I find I'm pretty sure it's already been discovered. I'm pretty sure there's choke points where you could just be stationary and just sitting there and shooting away with the ray gun and all that. I haven't figured that out. I just kind of did this on my own. And I was like, all right, let's play this. Let's see what it's all about. And I was just like, oh, okay, on the first try, I'm just running around this tank with a ray gun and this other weapon, and I'm like, wow. And I got brain rot already because when I was playing Time Machine, I unlocked all that stuff. Yeah, okay. I was like, that was easy. I was like, what now? Like, all right, round 100, I guess. So I was like, I tried to do that, and I'm like, wow, zombies got faster after round 50, and they killed me. And that's what happened. So now what? I'm like, okay, well, I gotta figure out and look up a strategy properly. And is it hard? I'm like, nah. And I was like, do I feel motivated to do it? Not really, but if people want to see that, sure, I'll look up strategy. Well, I kind of already did look it up. It's actually somewhere in the train station downstairs. You just camp down there. I think you throw a Semtex, and that's it, right, or something like that. And I'll look it up. I'll rewatch it and study it. So if anybody wants to see me try and do round 100 on these maps, sure. Pretty easy. I prefer the older games, but because they're a lot harder to do. But overall, I think this is I think Cold War is good. I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's replayable. That's just how I feel about it. Anyways, if you guys have an opinion on it, let me know what you guys think. Did you guys like Cold War Zombies? If you guys want to play, I'm always down to play Cold War. It doesn't really matter. I have it on PC. It's cross-play now, so if you guys are on PS4, Xbox, doesn't matter. We can always jump into a game, play together, do the Easter egg. I'll stream it. I haven't done any of the Easter eggs. To be honest, I've never really cared for Easter eggs, but it's a really popular thing. Everybody likes doing it. I haven't done it. I've watched them though. This one actually has a pretty cool Easter egg, so I can see why a lot of people are saying they like it. Because most people obviously are into that, and it actually does have a pretty cool one. I saw the boss fight, and I was like, wow, that was actually pretty dope. So if you guys want to hop on, and, hit me up. Drop a comment and tell me what your gamer tag is, and I'll add you, and we could jump into a game. All right, guys. Y'all take care and have a good day.